Today on What It's Like, we are back at Classic Auto Mall to feature this 1956 Packard Executive. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. Picture this, you just obtained a classic car you know nothing about. Maybe it's a car that the big channels just simply don't go in depth with, or perhaps you own these cars in the past and you're just here to reminisce. Either way, we feature the classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that tend to get lost in the shuffle. If that sounds like a channel that you would totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Real quick, before we get into this 56 Packard, we are doing a reflection episode, and we are going to talk about past, present, and future of this channel. We are going to take a look back at the beginning, fill in some blanks that happened just recently, and talk about next year. Also, I would like some feedback. When did you guys start watching this channel? Which episodes are your favorite episodes? I'm going to make a list of my 5 favorite videos that I've made for the channel this year, and we're going to talk about other various things, like what 5 cars would I like to have in my personal collection one day. Out of the cars that were reviewed this year, it's going to be a super sweet reflection episode. Anyway, the other one is this car, this 1956 Packard, is for sale at Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Do you remember the Imperial Palace? This is a lot like that, but instead of it being in a hotel, it's in a mall with over 800 cars for sale. When recording this episode, it's the largest consignment dealership in the Northeast of the United States. They don't charge admission. Anyone can go there. Link in the description if you're interested. Let's talk 1956 Packard. But before we talk about the 56 Packard, we have to set the stage. 1954 Packard, not Studebaker. Packard bought Studebaker in 1954, and Packard did not know how bad Studebaker's financial implications were. The reason Packard merged with Studebaker was simple. Packard wanted to survive. All of the other independents either merged or died. And what sucked was Packard picked the wrong company to merge with. Studebaker wasn't honest with their books. And it was like a Sears and Kmart merger. You remember when Sears and Kmart merged? That's essentially what the Packard and Studebaker merge was. It was a Sears and Kmart merger. 2 wrongs didn't make a right. Let's talk 1956 Packard model lineup. Starting with the Clipper series, which could be had a number of different ways. It was also known as the 5640 series, Clipper Custom Series 5660, Patrician and 400, Caribbean, which could be said Caribbean or Caribbean. There's 2 ways to say things sometimes. Brand new for 1956, the Executive. Packard introduced the Executive on March 5th, 1956, and it was produced until June 25th of that same year, 1956. Packard wanted to bridge the gap between the Patrician and the Clipper series. Packard Executive was marketed with the invitation to enter a luxury class. It was aimed at the young man on his way up. Executive replaced the custom Clipper line of cars. The Executive sold well, but the writing was already on the wall, so to speak. Rumors began to swirl, talk of Packard being an orphan car soon. No one wanted a car, or even the thought of owning a car that no one could work on because of part unobtainability. The Packard Executive could be had as a 4-door sedan or a 2-door hardtop. Let's talk specs. 214.8 inches long, 78 inches wide, 62.8 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 122 inches. It weighs 4,185 pounds. Price, $3,560, which is equivalent to you spending $38,965.12 a year 2022. Total 1956 Packard production was 28,835 units, of which 4-door Executives was 1,784 units. 2-door hardtop, they produced 1,031 units. Moving on to engine, only 1 engine on offer, 352 cubic inch displacement, V8, 5.77 liters. It's good for 275 horsepower, 380 pound-feet of torque. When mated to a 2-speed automatic transmission, top speed was allegedly 115 miles per hour, 0 to 60, 9.9 seconds, with an average fuel economy rating of 11.2 miles to the gallon. 3 transmissions on offer, and this was conflicting information. A lot of sources said that the 2-speed Ultramatic automatic was the only transmission, but I was able to find that the 3-speed manual was actually the transmission that came with this car, as well as the overdrive unit could be available at an added cost. All right, let's talk styling. So just check this out. This car has such a wow factor that doesn't show up on pictures for some reason, but just check out this headlight situation. Notice how far it sits back in there. It's this nice hood. It's also got these nice textured effects. There's a lot going on with this design in the front. It's got the grate behind this part, turn signal indicators that wrap around. It's got chrome everywhere. Notice this line. Notice how it comes back and swoops back around. Just check out this hood ornament. It's huge. Like, here's my hand for reference. Coming back here, just notice how it's like two-toned. White roof. It's got a fender bulge, but it doesn't have the rock. It doesn't have fender guards, but it's got a fender bulge. Notice how all of this is textured. Big wraparound windshield in the rear for that rear glass. Gas fillers right here. It does have fender skirts. Back here is my favorite part. Just check out these fins and how they are designed. Here's like a straight on look. Here's an off to the side look. They protrude out quite a ways. Also notice the exhaust comes out the bottom of the bumper section. This car is absolutely gorgeous. It has a presence. It's got dual antennas on each side that come right out of the fins. Alright, so coming up and getting inside, just notice how this door handle is designed. The door has, I wouldn't say quite a bit of heft, but it definitely has some weight to it, that's for sure. So just take a look at this door panel, all the different materials used. It's got like this vinyl material at the top. It actually feels nicer than vinyl. I don't know if it's leather. I'm not a material specialist, but it has a better feel than vinyl. Down here, this material feels more like a vinyl. Nice bright work at the bottom, as well as the separating line. Check out the armrest, how it protrudes outward. It's also the door handle to pull the door shut. This is the door handle to get out. This is the window crank for the big window. It's also got vent windows, but they're non-powered. Just check out that design. So just check out how this window is designed. It's all trimmed out, but it's also got this little inlay here, or this groove I should say, so it fits right over top of this gasket. Also notice that this piece here, when I shut the door, it closes over top. When I open the door, this vent part hits it and moves it out of the way. See that? Coming down inside the pedal box, down here, high beam switch, brake pedal, gas pedal, hand brake. It's got some aftermarket gauges, as well as horn button here. Just take a look at this interior. It's really nice interior. So here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person looks like. Here's how much space you have underneath the steering wheel. I have 34, I wear 34 size pants, so if you're a little bit bigger than me, it might be a little bit more snug. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Lights, antenna just below that, wipers, water temperature, oil pressure. Notice it's a light. Left turn signal indicator, speedometer, 120 miles per hour speedometer. Odometer, right turn signal indicator, fuel, amp, which is also a light. Lighter, speaker volume, ignition, air conditioning, radio tone knob, radio, change stations knob, clock. Under the steering wheel on the right side, climate controls and blower motor with low and high settings. At the bottom of the left-hand side, rear, I can't see what the other word says, but it also has a low and high setting. So I don't know, does the air conditioning blow from the rear? And this is what controls it? In the comment section below. Up above, got some nice sun visors. Here's my hand for reference. They're pretty big. Also, it's a long way to the top. Like, there's no, it's hard to convey how tall this car sits. Like, it's incredible. Check out the rear view mirror. I don't know if that's aftermarket. This sort of looks aftermarket. Another sun visor over there. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is our glove box in question. Man, that thing is huge. Look at that. No issue whatsoever. You can almost fit another half of a camera in there. So just check this out. It's got power seats. Getting in the rear. Hold the seat out of the way. That's how much space you have to get back there. So here's what the back to front view looks like. Here's what my knee situation looks like. Tons of space. Not a problem there. This is a rope for if you had a lap blanket. You could put a lap blanket there. There's also a rope on this side. You can hold on to it as a grab handle, but it's more or less for like a lap blanket. Here's what the seat profile looks like. As you can see, it's very upright. The cushion pretty much in line where you would think it would be. But also notice how these kind of sort of cup. The seat is pretty flat. There isn't a coat hook on that side, but there is a nice reading light. There isn't a coat hook on this side either, but there is also a nice reading light on this side. Ashtray, as well as armrest. And just check out, it's a full armrest. It goes all the way back. So that's what it would look like. Windows operate like this. Also just notice this big piece right here. That is a big piece. I just love the way that these windows operate. It's art in motion, really. It's got a nice rear shelf back here. That's what the rear view looks like. I love that you can see the fins out there. All right, coming to the under the hood section. So right up inside here, that's where the hood release is. You push it to the right and that pops it. There isn't a second catch. The hood is extremely heavy though. Just check out that engine. It's got power steering. Before talking about the pros and cons, this car was bittersweet. This was the last new car line Packard made. This was like looking at the end of an era. Packard went on until 1958. 58 was their last year. But they aren't real Packards, in my opinion. This was the last real Packard that wasn't a rebadged Studebaker. And it was great. Maybe one day I'll get to drive one. Anyway, on to the pros and cons. We are getting all of the pros and cons from the complete book of collectible cars. Blue Chip Auto Investment, 70 years from 1930 to 2000 by Richard M. Langworth and the auto editors of Consumer Guide on the positive side. A genuine Packard that's still affordable, clean, period styling, good performance, exceptional torsion level suspension, strong appreciation potential. Against it, low line status, tends to rust, fuel thirst, body parts now scarce. All right, now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give me both the correct name of the band as well as song title, both correctly, will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted, or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. It gives you the opportunity to share your rides, stories, experiences. If you're interested, the link will be in the description. So if I catch you on here or Facebook, just know that I appreciate everything. And until next time, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Hela Kaliki Maka, Feliz Navidad, Happy New Year. And if I forgot any other ones, happy that as well. And until next time, hop, 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 hop,